Hey YouTube, today we're going to be covering an all Milwaukee Toolbag loadout and whether or not that's even a good idea. So let's get into that on Tinker with Tools. Now I'm no stranger to Milwaukee power tools, and definitely they would be at the top of my choice of a single battery platform if I could only pick one. But when it comes to their hand tools and things that you'd commonly find in a tool bag, I can't say that they've typically dominated the past tool bag loadouts that I've done, but when Home Depot sent me out the Milwaukee Packout Backpack, I decided to take a chance and try and do an all Milwaukee tool bag to see if I could expose maybe some areas where they didn't have the options that I would choose, or see if I've been sleeping on them over the years and maybe they really do have a compelling offering that I should be considering more. So we're going to go ahead, talk about the backpack. We're going to talk about all the different tools that I put in there, and then I'm going to tell you which categories I think they shine in and what categories maybe need some work. Now, when it comes to Milwaukee's tool bags, they do have a variety of different options and even at various price points. Previously, I featured the 10-inch structured pack-out tote on my channel, but one of the common responses when I feature that bag is just how expensive it is at well over $200. This one is a more reasonably priced $130. It is going to be 20 inches tall, 15 inches wide, and over 11 inches deep. There's going to be two main storage compartments on the inside of the bag with various pockets and things in there that we'll kind of talk about and showcase here in a second. The first pocket is going to be behind kind of this main red area right here, and that is kind of a harder outer shell. It's certainly going to be a little bit more durable if you want to store some sort of electronic equipment in there. It's going to have a little bit of durability and protection in that front center pocket. Then additionally, you do have the larger main compartment, which is going to have just a whole host of different options in terms of storage, and it does still have quite a bit of larger storage area in the middle. It does seem well made, and I think it will be reasonably durable for you. I just think that some of the places don't necessarily have the same heavy-duty nature that what you get on their more expensive bags. But the big selling points for me are going to be it's going to be quite large. I'd even almost call it cavernous on the inside, and then the fact that it is pack-out compatible. So if you are running pack-out, this is going to be able to lock into them, and I think that's a really great selling feature and one that doesn't exist on all of their bags, so make sure you pay attention when you go ahead and purchase them. Now, when it comes to PPE, this is something that I definitely include in every single tool bag that I do, and that is something where I have actually been using Milwaukee in addition to maybe a couple other brands for in terms of gloves, but definitely then their safety glasses in just about everything that I ever do. Their PPE definitely gets a pass for me. I think they really have you covered when it comes to that area. Now, lighting is going to be another area where I have used various Milwaukee lights over the years and even have a couple of them that currently go inside my tool bags. Now, one that I think is truly one of the best examples of a versatile work light is going to be the Milwaukee Task Light. I really think this is going to be one of the most compact yet still highly versatile lights. Has a variety of different ways that you can mount it on things. It's going to be about the thickness of your cell phone. It has magnets, it has a hook, it's rechargeable with USB-C. It is just a great and impressive light, and definitely one that I'd buy again. They typically have both a kind of more expensive red lithium version to most of their lights, and then they also have some less expensive versions that are going to be powered by traditional AA or AAA batteries. This is their tiny little rover light that just runs on a pair of AA batteries. This is a Milwaukee headlamp that is coming in under $30 at my local Home Depot. Is quite bright, is going to work with standard batteries off the shelf. They definitely have lighting at different price points, and that's really an area where I think they excel at offering you a wide variety of stuff for your tool bag. Now, when it comes to measuring and marking, I actually really do like their tape measures. I have used both kind of their more compact options with kind of a thinner blade, and then even some of their more wide blade options. And I don't think you necessarily even need to go all the way to their stud lineup to necessarily get a decent overall quality tape measure. They have these little squares. You'll oftentimes see them at the holidays where they'll do a 2-pack with the trim square and then the full-size 7-inch carpenter square. I think these are great. They're easily readable for what they are. I think they're pretty nice. Now, marking, they do have ink salt markers. These are going to be something I rely on quite heavily, and they've now started to come out with different variations of these. But one area that I think they're really lacking is not having some sort of carpenter pencil option. With how many different companies offer a mechanical carpenter pencil, this is one area where they should have a product offering already. But in terms of measuring and marking, I think they have an adequate solution. They should just have a little bit more well-rounded if they had some sort of pencil for that. Now, on the subject of screwdrivers, Milwaukee is a little bit hit or miss for me. They definitely have some screwdrivers that I really do like, and they have them at various price points, but then they also have some that I really just can't stand and would prefer not to carry. Now, in terms of good, whether you go with their made in the USA screwdrivers that are a little bit more money, or if you go with their kind of just original kind of design of standard screwdrivers, I think that they're pretty good. I really do love the made in the USA ones. Use them all the time in my tool bags. That's one tool that definitely makes it into most of my tool bags. The miss part of this hit or miss is when you get to some of their multi-bit screwdrivers, and that's definitely an area where I don't think this is going to be something that I would want to carry in my tool bag. Now, first off, I started with this 27-in-1 non-ratcheting screwdriver, and this is easily one of the worst screwdrivers that I've ever picked up and used. End cap came off the day I bought it, and I kind of had to reattach it and glue it back. Overall, the bit selection is pretty good, and I actually think the bit storage is decent, but when you get up here to the business end of the tool, that's where it really falls apart for me. There's only magnetic retention on this one, and it's just not very strong. I find that it's very easy for it to come out, but at the same time, then you have the bit retention on the actual end piece, and that is almost too strong, something that makes it difficult to get the bits out. And because this is a 27-in-1, you are going to be switching the bits every so often. That on the ratcheting version of these, whether it is going to be on the stubby or on the kind of the full-size ratcheting, they did add a ball detent there, and it does seem to make it a little bit better. But overall, this is a $30 ratcheting screwdriver that for me just doesn't feel up to that. And there are other screwdrivers in that price point that I definitely turn to. So screwdrivers, a little bit hit or miss there. Now, when it comes to pliers, there's really two different levels of pliers that you're going to be talking about here. On the more expensive end and kind of the more recent release, they do have their made in the USA pliers, and these are excellent pliers. I absolutely love them. The needle nose pliers, for example, just pop right open, and they were like this out of the box. The alignment really the same way. Very nice and easy to use. These diagonal cutters are a little bit on the smaller end, but they do have larger sizes that you can go ahead and pick up. If you're not going to be talking about their made in the USA stuff, they do have options that are non-made in the USA that are going to be a little bit on the cheaper end. And this is where it's kind of maybe a little hit or miss. And if you could find a way to try out the specific example of the pliers, I think they're really good. This is a set that was picked up for this video to kind of showcase that. They're a little bit on the harder end, or the harder to close side, harder to open. The needle nose, however, this is a set that I've had for at least 4 to 5 years now, and they also are very good. So like I said, you can get good quality even kind of with some of their lower, less expensive pliers, but it's just going to be kind of up to you to try and find kind of that really good set in the mix. Now, one set of pliers that I include in this tool bag, not necessarily because I always carry it in a tool bag, but because I wanted to show off this plier, is their extended reach needle nose plier. And the cool thing about this cavernous backpack is this fits inside with no trouble. It is definitely one thing that really showcases off how nice and big the backpack is, because you can fit something like this in. Now, something that I did pick up for the video is going to be their 7-in-1 high leverage kind of forged wire strippers that you've seen from maybe other brands. And this is something where they offer a 6-in-1 version that's a little bit more compact, and then this 7-in-1 version that's going to be kind of the high leverage. So this is something that I don't think it's on the level of their kind of made in the USA stuff in terms of quality, but it is a decent tool and something that I think is worth checking out. And overall, they've got various price point options. Just kind of be a bit selective if you're buying some of the lesser quality stuff, and I think you'll be fine because they really do kind of have you covered on just about any set of pliers. Now, when it comes to kind of traditional wrenches, this is one where I prefer a set of plier wrench. And this is a tool that I knew they didn't currently make, but what I didn't know is they actually have it coming out soon. They're going to have a full selection of pliers wrenches. Hopefully those come out sooner rather than later. And that's definitely something I'll check out and be sure to let you know how it is. When it comes to their adjustable wrenches, they certainly do the trick, and I think they're decent. An adjustable wrench is not something I love over a pliers wrench, but I find that sometimes it's nice to have one of these in the bag in addition to a pliers wrench to kind of be able to get a little bit more work done. And then they do have their Allen key sets that are going to be pretty nice and compact. And they offer these both in this kind of more compact version, and then they have kind of the traditional sets like maybe something you've seen from Weha, where they do even have ball end versions. One thing I noticed though is when I went to go look for these in stores, the sets that I found online were actually going to be a better value for me than what they were carrying in my local store. In store, I could only pick up either the SAE or the metric, and they were about $15 or $17, I think it was. I actually picked up the set of two online with mostly the same sizes for $19. And if you're just looking at your local Home Depot, that's something where you definitely should be on the lookout, maybe what's on their website as well. One area that I found they were a little bit lacking on affordable options was definitely in their socket sets. When I decided to go with this, I bought a set of these kits that are going to be, this is the metric set, the SA set is on order and will be coming later, and then I picked up just a standard 3/8" ratchet. But I pretty much had to buy this a la carte to kind of get this combination of things together. And at that point, I was still paying close to that $100 price point to get exactly what I wanted. Now, in fairness, Milwaukee does offer pack-out sets that come in a shallow pack-out case. They run about $129, but I couldn't actually find one that featured both SAE and metric in kind of that more compact case that would have just fit perfectly on the bottom of this tool bag here. It would have been something I would have actually been interested in. So if I could make any plea to Milwaukee, it would be kind of give us maybe a set right around that $100 price point that would be perfect for kind of going along with the tool bag like this. I think that'd be something that would be interesting to see them do. Overall, I'm impressed with the quality of the ratchets. They do seem nice to use. The 4 flat sides is intriguing and nice. The included socket rail that they came on is nice. It fits well in the bag. I just think that maybe there's something a little bit better that they could offer to kind of get more of an appeal to a broader audience with their socket offerings. It's one place where I found that I was kind of let down by what they had to offer. Now, one area that Milwaukee has definitely got you more than covered is going to be on something like their power tools. In this bag right now, all I'm carrying is the subcompact impact driver. It fits really nice. It's super small. It keeps the weight down a little bit. And unlike that structured pack-out tote that I have, really the larger 18-volt tools will fit in here as well and still be able to close the bag and keep them covered. So that's one thing Milwaukee did really well with this bag. Now, when it comes to cutting devices, Milwaukee has the gold standard in cutting tools with the Fastback. This is the thing that everyone else is going to be imitating. This one has blade storage, and then it is a metal frame. They have slightly more compact and lightweight plastic ones. They have the version that's got the little bit driver on the back. Really, the Fastback, you can't go wrong with that, and that's the reason why most people are trying to imitate it. Now, when it comes to some sort of scissors or other cutting device, that's where I found their options to maybe be a little bit lacking for more of a generalist perspective. I did end up going with this kind of heavy-duty pair of Milwaukee offset shears. They're nice, they're sharp. I just think I prefer something a little bit different. You've seen how I carry those little 7-inch titanium utility shears, either from Crescent Wisp or from Klein also has them now. I was really looking for something like that, and although they do have in some of their specialty electrical tools, electrical scissors, and even some shears that people are kind of using that way, they just felt a little bit on the too compact side, and so I didn't end up picking them up and went with more with this. So definitely an area where I think they could round out their offerings, but overall they still have the epitome of the utility knife and one that I think most of us carry in our tool bags. Now, the last area that I'm going to talk about before we get into some overall opinions is just going to be their bit sets. This is another area where I think they could do better making their bit sets a little bit more appealing. They do have a larger pack-out bit set that I picked up a couple years ago that you could definitely just clip onto the bottom here, and it has a lot of storage space in it, and it's one of those thin pack-outs that we kind of talked about with the socket wrenches. And then they do just have a variety of these different slim cases that are decent. I don't think they're terrible, just kind of like their bits. They're not necessarily the worst bits that I've ever used, but they're also not something that I seek out and go for. They'll get the job done, but I don't think they're class leading. So when it comes to the omissions or the things that I was not able to put in the bag that I normally would, I had started writing out a list of things that I thought were missing of what I typically would put in there. And when I started searching for those items, I actually found that most of them They offer online, they just didn't quite offer in the stores that I'm used to shopping in. So something like a laser distance measure, they do have a wide variety of options there. The pliers wrencher, another one where I did not think that they even had an offering for that, and it appears that it's in the works. The one that I couldn't find anything that would work how I like to use it, like I said earlier, is the pencil option, whether it's a mechanical pencil or even just a straight up carpenter's pencil. They don't necessarily have an option. That's one area where they definitely were lacking a little bit. So then at the end of this, what are my impressions after putting together this whole bag? Well, initially, I thought I was going to find areas where I really just didn't like the product offerings at all, or I felt that they were really kind of falling short of what else was out there. But the truth of the matter is they really do have something for just about every area. Now, not every area is going to be class leading or even necessarily the best value, but if you truly wanted to go do a complete Milwaukee tool bag, I definitely don't think you're going to be left short and necessarily without a tool that you really truly need to be able to get the job done. They have something for just about everything, and overall the quality level is decent, if not great, in some areas, and definitely something that I think you could do a lot worse than picking an All Milwaukee tool bag. Now, of course, this is more so of an exercise to kind of showcase what Milwaukee has out there, but go ahead and let me know if you've tried some of these Milwaukee tools. What is your overall opinion of them? What are the areas that impressed you? What are some of the areas that fell short? And are there definitely Milwaukee tools that you rave about? Let me know what your favorites are in the comments down below. Now, if you like this sort of video, go ahead and hit that like button. And if you haven't already, please consider subscribing. Make sure to turn on notifications. And as always, thank you for all your continued support. But until next time, I will catch you on Tinker with Tools.